Think about the foods that define where you're from. In Israel, it's the snacks that tell the story. Peel back these wrappers and you get more than just a salty, crunchy, sweet, creamy hit of nostalgia. You get a taste of the push-pull that shapes Israel. From a puff that saved thousands of Israeli kids from peanut allergies to a pudding cup that nearly convinced an entire generation of Israelis to move to Berlin. These 6 snacks reveal everything you need to know about Israel: the good, the bad, and the unexpected. Snack number 1, Bamba. These magical peanut butter puffs are so much more than a snack. They've made Israelis 10 times less likely to be allergic to nuts. Back in 1964, an Israeli pasta company tried to break into the snack market with a cheese puff, but weirdly, it didn't take off. So they experimented with 4 new flavors. The corn flavor didn't make anyone go crazy, the grilled flavor just tasted kind of smoky, caraway made you feel like you were eating a weird rye bread, but the peanut butter hit pay dirt. So yum. It's a bizarro mashup of flavors and textures. A first ultra crisp bite that melts in your mouth and then it kind of welds your teeth shut. And then the coating gets all stuck on your fingers. It's like, what am I eating and why can't I stop? Osem became all about the peanut Bamba. Soldiers who needed a morale boost love it. Adults love it. Teens love it. Babies love it. To the tune of 20 million bags sold every month. It's so beloved across Israel that Bamba literally rewrote the script on allergy advice. For decades, doctors around the world had assumed that giving kids peanut products from a young age would make them more allergic to nuts, not less. But researchers who were studying peanut allergies noticed that the allergy rates in Israel were much lower than in other countries. The reason? Bamba. Turned out, Israeli parents who gave their babies Bamba were actually making them less allergic to peanuts. Conclusion? Change everything and give babies allergens early. Forget the pill cam and the rewalk. Turns out one of Israel's biggest contributions to modern medicine is a peanut puff. Snack number 2, Bissli. This little bag carries a story you'd never expect. Ephraim Sa'adon was one of hundreds of thousands of Middle Eastern and North African Jews who poured into Israel in the first years of the state. Most had fled or were driven out of hostile Arab nations, and they arrived in Israel with little more than the clothes on their backs. This wave of immigrants doubled Israel's population, and they transformed everything about the country: its demographics, its politics, and its snacks. Sa'adon landed in a hastily constructed transit camp and soon found work at the Osem factory. He was with the company when they struck peanut gold with Bamba in 1964. 10 years later, Osem was searching for their next hit snack. Potato chips seemed like the obvious choice, except that Israel's climate wasn't suited to growing potatoes. What Israel did have was wheat. Lots and lots of wheat, which they turned into lots of pasta. One day, Ephraim Sa'adon spontaneously dropped some stray pasta into Osem's new state-of-the-art deep fryer, and Israel's snack landscape was never the same. Real talk, the first iteration of Sa'adon's fried pasta did not taste good, but Osem realized that with a little tweaking, some salt, some spices, and a crunchy coating, they were onto something. Bissli, a mashup of the word bis, which means bite, and li, meaning for me. A bite for me. Bissli's quirky flavors of grill, onion, and falafel exploded in popularity when they were introduced in 1975, followed by 2 other classics, barbecue and pizza. But Sa'adon's favorite wasn't on grocery shelves. It was scooping a handful of freshly made, unseasoned Bissli and adding some sugar. Osem churns out 500,000 bags of Bissli every day, but behind the shiny foil and the fun flavors is something deeper. A testament to how Israel's diverse population shapes its culture. Snack number 3, Krembo. To fluff or not to fluff? That is the question, but it is a question only asked in the winter. We'll get there. This is a Krembo, a cookie base topped with a mountain of marshmallow mousse and enrobed in a thin chocolate coating. Unfortunately, Krembo is only available during the winter, and therefore we do not have any right now. Unlike Bamba and Bissli, Krembo wasn't invented in Israel. It's actually similar to a Danish confection that's sold in other parts of the world too, but it's become quintessentially Israeli. In the 1950s, Israeli ice cream manufacturers were looking for a way to use up leftover egg whites, so they whipped them up into a sweet foam, stuffed that in an ice cream cone, and coated the whole thing in chocolate. They called their concoction hot ice cream. Hot ice cream soon evolved into the Krembo we know today. It's a portmanteau of the French crème or cream with the Hebrew bo, cream inside. If you've never made a mess eating something and thought, worth it, you haven't met a Krembo yet. Its marshmallow filling gets everywhere, and it was too delicate for Israel's hot summers, so Krembo went seasonal. When grocery stores roll out the Krembo, Israelis know
winter is coming.
It's basically the pumpkin spice latte of Israel, an edible marker of colder weather. They're so iconic that people used to offer them as a reward for finding stolen cars. And in the Hebrew version of Harry Potter, Albus Dumbledore's favorite treat isn't sherbet lemons, it's Krembo. Israelis are united in their Krembo love, but they're divided over which part of the Krembo is the reason for being. Is it the cookie or the gooey mellow? Do you dive in from here or there? Which also begs the question, which Jewish blessing should you make before you eat it, for the fluff or the cookie? Snack number 4, soup almonds? These tiny fluorescent squares are known as Shkeidei Marak, or soup almonds. But they don't actually have anything to do with almonds. Shkeidei Marak are croutons meant to be added to soup, like oyster crackers. You might be thinking, how are soup croutons considered a snack? I'll show you. Pour them into your palm, and then throw back a handful. They are so salty and crunchy, and they hit exactly right. And before you know it, you've eaten the entire bag and you need to drink a gallon of water. So where did these neon sodium squares even come from? Back in the 1950s, the desperately poor Jewish state imposed a top-down policy of austerity. Food was rationed, and even manufacturers only received a set amount of ingredients. One month, Osem, yes, the same company that makes Bamba and Bissli, didn't receive their regular allocation of flour, but they were given extra vats of oil to make up for the missing ration. So now they had to figure out what they could make from a lot of oil and a little bit of flour. A perfect dilemma for a people with a history of miracles with oil and a knack for improvisation. They fried up a little bit of dough in a lot of oil and voila, soup almonds. They were loosely based on soup mandlin, aka soup almonds, aka the egg and matzah mixture Ashkenazi Jews put in their Passover soups, so they used the same name, but in Hebrew, Shkeidei Marak, soup almonds. Over time, Shkeidei Marak evolved into the teeny, practically glow-in-the-dark squares Israelis love today. Austerity food with staying power. Snack number 5, Shoko B'Sakit, chocolate milk in a bag. How do you open this thing? 1, cut it open. 2, jam in a straw. 3, bite the corner. Or 4, just yank it open like a bag of chips and watch it explode everywhere. It's Israeli chocolate milk, and it's completely irreplaceable. I'm option 3 all the way. You have to bite it at the right angle. Plastic. In the 1960s, the hottest thing on Israeli dairy farms was bagged milk. Bags were lighter than glass bottles, cheaper to produce, and easier to transport. It's why other countries adopted it too. You just plop the bag into a reusable plastic pitcher, cut off the corner, and pour out a cup. Chocolate milk, or shoko, was also originally introduced to the Israeli market in glass bottles and eventually sold in bags, including as single-serve pouches, Shoko B'Sakit, literally milk in a little baggie. Whenever I leave Israel, it's the thing I miss the most. You can't replicate it. Pouring milk into a Ziploc bag and cutting off the corner just isn't the same. I've tried it. It's an only in Israel experience to head to your local corner grocery, buy a plain bread roll and a Shoko B'Sakit, bite the bread, bite the corner off the bag. There's something about that combination that's just so perfect. It's cheap, it's delicious, it's nostalgic, it's childhood in a bag. Snack number 6, Milky. So this pudding is a journey through clouds of whipped cream to luscious pudding goodness. 2 perfect textures all in 1 cup. Legend has it that only 5 people actually know the recipe. Milky is one of Israel's most popular dairy snacks, which might be why it sparked a major political crisis in 2014. Like Krembo, Milky is an adaptation of a European treat. They've been on Israeli grocery shelves since 1979. Today, you can even buy it with a companion cup of just whipped cream. Literally an entire cup of extra whipped cream. I mean, give the inventor a Nobel Prize already. In 2014, an Israeli expat in Berlin posted a picture on social media of a low-cost German equivalent, paired with a caption urging Israelis to move to Berlin for the cheaper cost of living. The post tapped into outrage over the skyrocketing cost of food, but at the same time they were protesting their country's high cost of living, Israelis were also debating the spiritual and philosophical ramifications of leaving their country over a snack. For many Jewish people, including me, choosing to live in Israel carries a heightened sense of purpose. It's the fulfillment of an ancient dream. Moving to Israel is called aliyah, or ascending. The flip side of this is yirida, or descending. Some Israelis consider moving out of Israel to be an act of abandonment, walking away from hard-fought independence and a national destiny. The Milky debate went beyond the high price of a pudding cup. It was about whether leaving Israel was strategic or disloyal. It wasn't the first time that a popular food set off national turmoil. Just 3 years before, Israelis had boycotted cottage cheese and even filled the streets in protest of its steep prices. But Milky took the conversation over affordability to another level. It became a proxy for competing values. Should Israelis prioritize patriotism or practicality? Because in Israel, it's never just about the treat. It's about what it means.